big sky, big potential. In association with Mills and Reeve, this is Eastern Promise. Achieving more together. This is the East of England, Britain's breadbasket, and home of the UK's premier two-day agricultural festival, the Royal Norfolk Show. Join us on the avenues and boulevards of the Norfolk Showground for the podcast that is Eastern Promise. I'm Mike Rigby, and it's my absolute pleasure to welcome back my Norfolk Show co-host, Dr Penny Hundleby, to the Eastern Promise podcast. And not a moment too soon, because for the fourth magnificent year, we'll both be searching out a heady brew of Norfolk Show stalwarts and brand new surprises alike to celebrate and showcase. So, whatever your business, the Royal Norfolk Show remains peerless as the county's collective shop window. So, don your sturdiest walking boots and join Penny and me for our 2025 Royal Norfolk Show extravaganza on this week's Eastern Promise. The Royal Norfolk Show, the county's annual two-day fiesta of farming, agriculture, and the best that Norfolk has to offer. It's a unique platform to reach across divides, engage generations young and old, provide corporate hospitality, and an opportunity to salute all those working tirelessly to make Norfolk a better place. And so, as I read out a script I wrote before the show even opened, let's find out what's happening at the 2025 Royal Norfolk Show.
Day one of the Royal Norfolk. I think you should start.
Okay, so let's have a... Okay, so we're at the STEM Village, which is really amazing that we've got this here, and you know, Sam Fox has done a phenomenal job at pulling all these people together. So we have got most of the institutes from the Norwich Research Park, we've got Eastern College, who else have we got? We've got Sizewell here, we've got Gresham School.
Ethel Engineering, we've got, Happy Smiles Club.
I know, and that's really exciting because of obviously the real push to try and get a dentistry school in Norwich. Who else? We've got Norwich Institute for Sustainable Development. That's going to be really nice to go and have a look at.
There's all the kind of things that Norfolk and the East of England need for our future being put in front of future generations right here. I mean, Sam Fox, we should say, Dr Samantha Fox, is every year she puts on the STEM, that STEM with an extra M for medicine. She puts on this fantastic, accessible smorgasbord of science for the young people of Norfolk and the East of England to see where their future could be.
Approximately 14,000 children are going to be coming through this over the next 2 days, and the Norfolk Show in total, 80,000 people coming on site. So it is massive. It's
a cultural event that I think outside the county you might not necessarily clock.
And there's so much for everybody. I think it's only afterwards when you look on social media that you see all the stuff going on that you completely missed. I'm excited to see what
it is. I mean, there's bubbles, there's kids, there's the clank of old tractors in the vintage zone behind us. Let's go into the tent. Well, Penny, this is a fantastic start to the Royal Norfolk Show 2025. We're here with His Grace, the Bishop of Norwich. How are you finding the show already this morning?
Well, I was here quite early and it's already really busy, and I think it's only about 10:30 in the morning. But what I'm loving seeing is all the faces of the children here in the STEM area, just delighting in learning new things and engaging with science and the latest innovations of potential jobs in the future, and we're here learning about wind farming at the moment, and it's just an incredible place to be, and the Royal Norfolk Show is just such a highlight in the calendar of Norfolk's year.
Have a wonderful time at the show.
And you. So what's been your favourite part so far?
Honestly, just getting here, we've just
had
got
breakfast.
Well, let me give you a top tip.
do.
The Church of England has a tent here, the chaplaincy tent, and they're making fresh candy floss and handing it out. So you might want to nip up there. I think it was bright green candy floss when I had a go earlier.
So my name's Lauren Little and I'm a Senior Stakeholder Advisor at Orsted.
Senior Stakeholder Advisor. So you've got a very nice blue stand here with this fantastic bike that this young lady's pedalling on for all she's worth. And then the watts are going up. We like this. So, and tell us what this is about for the people who obviously can't see it.
We've got a bike that we've got a lot of people pedaling on and actually taking up the challenge of cycling to generate energy. And it really shows the reality of how much energy it takes to power everything from a laptop at the lowest at 70 watts all the way up to a household vacuum at 300 watts, which takes a lot of pedaling, a lot of cycling and a lot of energy.
May I have a try?
You may.
And embarrass myself for the record. Thank you very much. Right. I don't want to see how I'm doing. How am I doing?
So you're doing well. We're up to a PlayStation. We're up to a freezer.
Come on.
We're up to a TV.
Come on, TV.
Let's hit the vacuum. Come
We're
on.
nearly at a vacuum.
I think you might be on for a cuddly toy, and
Just push a little bit more, and we're nearly at the. Almost there.
You've
Almost
reached
there.
it. Oh no, okay, you've lost it. Come on. You're at 260. and
You are
Right,
on the edge.
No.
You've got just
Good
one.
job, I've just joined a gym.
You've left with a 65-inch TV.
65-inch TV.
So who are Orsted?
So Orsted are most well known for being the global leader in offshore wind energy, but we're actually a renewable energy company as a whole.
So the East of England is the leader in the UK for wind energy.
Yeah, so the East Coast, all along the East Coast, there's a lot of wind farms either in operation, development and in construction. So Orsted's interest in this region specifically is that we're building Hornsey Project 3, which is going to be the world's largest offshore wind farm.
And so how much, it's obviously not pedaling a bike, but how much are your wind farms generating energy?
So we're generating as Orsted from our 12 operational wind farms power for over 6.6 million homes. So we've been building offshore wind farms for a long time in the UK and operating them for a long time, so over 6 million homes. But to put it into perspective, the project Hornsey 3 that is going to be coming into this region that we're constructing right now is going to power 3 million homes on its own. So these wind farms are getting much larger all the time.
So obviously in here we've got other companies who are also involved in wind farms. How do you sort of come together?
Yeah, so today is a great example of that because we're part of the East Wind Offshore Wind Cluster. So you'll see the branding on the outside, and the East Wind organisation convenes us all as developers and supply chain to showcase our industry as a whole. And we're always collaborating because we realise there's a lot of projects and we really want to make sure we get the message out there to the community about the benefits.
Norwich Institute for Sustainable Development. Well, it seems fairly obvious to me why you're here, Matthew Heaton, of the aforementioned. You tell me more.
So Norwich Institute for Sustainable Development does lots of things related to the environment, production of food, linking up all these different institutes in a transdisciplinary way. But what we're doing here today is we're trying to understand what kids want when it comes to sustainability, food production, food knowledge about how things are grown, and about maybe what they want to see more of. And I guess what we're trying to do is that many of the stands here today are trying to share information with kids, and that's great. But something we want to try and do is understand from kids what they want to hear. We want to hear their voice, because all too often we project ideas onto these kids about what they want for the future and things like that. We don't really give them a chance to speak for themselves. And so what we're trying to do here is to understand by different age groups what they want to see, what they care about, what they don't care about, and use this to inform how we plan things for the future.
But that's so easy to do, isn't it? Just assume we know what kids want and what we want them to want. And I think that is core of the whole discussion, isn't it, at the moment? We want you to do these things, not what you actually want your future to look like. So how are you going about teasing that out of them?
Yeah, absolutely. And just to talk to that, you're right. And the thing is, we are projecting ideas onto kids, and sometimes some of these ideas are quite complex. And so, of course, there's a logic in that too. But we want to try and some of those ideas we want to try and back that up with data, see empirically if we can say, do kids care about these things and how they feel about it. So the way we're doing that is we're asking 3 questions. And we're asking the kids in those questions whether they really want to see this, they don't want to see this, or it's somewhere in the middle. And the first question is about whether they want to see more education about food and how it's produced, if they want to have a more understanding of that world. The second question is about how much they think about the environment and how much that affects their choices every single day. And then the last question brings that all together. So we're trying to ask how much children would be up for changing their diet to less impact foods, whether they'd be up for doing that, or whether they wouldn't really, whether there are other things that influence their decisions. So from this, we're trying to get a picture of how much they want to know about farming, how much they bring environmentalism into it, and what they want to see as a change for the future.
So, I mean, it's hard, isn't it, from your point of view? Because I suppose it's hard not to have an end goal in mind when you set up a situation like this. These are the things we want you to think about, which is kind of, I suppose, doesn't quite sit with where you're going, but it's you've got to start somewhere. You can't just, have a conversation in an entire vacuum. You can't help them understand the world unless you can say, well, these are the things. But again, you've got the opportunity to turn them into advocates as well for the older generations.
I think there's two stages. I think one, just asking kids itself can be a bit empowering in itself. Some of these kids are getting to talk about things which they're visibly excited to do so. But what we're trying to do here is we're capturing data at these different age levels, and then we're using this. We can then use this to work with groups like the Food and Farming Discovery Trust or schools who are in sustainability programs or climate ambassadors. We can show them that kids want to see at different ages, and that can help them design programs to maybe see more of their food or understand more of how things work. And so in some ways we can get actionable, tangible stuff from these initial things that can help inform different plans for the future.
That's amazing.
So therapies and diet. So nutrition is massive on the agenda at the moment, isn't it?
Well, yes. Yesterday I was interviewing Piers Ricketts of Health Innovation East, and one of the key things is moving from treatment to prevention. That's one of the key NHS shifts, and this, I would imagine, is a key part of that. Melissa is nodding. Melissa McGeary.
So we work in an acute trust, so we are from the James Padgett Hospital. So you're quite right, we are part of the big shift. So the NHS has a 5-year plan which looks at moving to prevention rather than necessarily intervention. So we play such an important role in that we do both. So as a physiotherapist, everyone always assumes that physios, we tend to look after people's muscles and bones. Key things that they do at the hospital is obviously like joint replacement, looking after that. I actually work in respiratory, so predominantly intensive care, and the surgical wards and respiratory wards. And on the surgical and respiratory wards, prevention is just as important as the treatment that we provide, which is a reactive to them being in. So we give a lot of education around how do you manage your breathlessness, how do you support yourself, giving you all the tools to do things to stop you coming back in again, because that's what we don't want. We don't want people to keep coming back with the same problems.
I'm from the John Innes Centre, and we've got some researchers who've been sort of, enhancing, vitamin D and B12, and they were sort of saying, that food is, that is healthcare, medicine is sick care, and it's just like, it needs to start with what you're putting inside you.
100%, it's this notion of like food as medicine, and as we're saying, kind of like prevention is our big thing. If we're eating well, making kind of healthy, balanced choices. Again, so my work is also on critical care, respiratory wards, and as kind of Mel was saying around breathlessness. If you're breathless, you're gasping, you can't take in enough calories, enough energy, you're then going to be at further disadvantages. So again, we work with all sorts of patient groups to promote good nutrition throughout the life cycle. Again, big fan of kind of advocating for health throughout the ages and trying to focus on what we need at those different cycles so that we can live long lives, being supported to stay active, and just the whole trifecta really of keeping people well.
Yeah, so I'm Emma Scott and I'm an oral health educator.
And Danny Soanes, and also oral health educator, and we work for the Happy Smiles Club, a part of John G. Plumbers and Associates.
Your earrings are really telling the story as well, which are very, very operation style teeth, aren't
and
they?
our fairy wings on today as well.
Someone thought that we were butterflies and or moths, and I was like, no, we're tooth fairies.
So we're a charity that work across Norfolk and Suffolk promoting oral health. We mainly go into schools, do the education sessions with primary school age, home education groups, community groups like scouts and so forth. Also care homes and we do all healthcare training for other health professionals like carers, those worked on wards and so forth. So yeah, it's kind of going out there and promoting the importance of oral health.
So actually, just thinking about that, it never even occurred to me, but if you've got a full set of dentures, you probably think that oral health is probably not as crucially important, but the whole microbiome now is such a big thing that actually there probably is way more to it than we probably think, isn't there?
Absolutely, and the bacteria in your mouth is also linked to your body as well, so there's lots of studies between the link of poor hygiene and the increased risk of heart disease, stroke, diabetes and so forth. So your oral health is really important.
Really important to keep those clean as well, like the dentures themselves, and still wipe the soft tissues in the mouth and still look after your oral health.
A couple of questions. One, when you ask people, do you floss? Do you know they're lying?
Usually.
Lying's a strong word. Convince themselves.
Well, if they'd done the disclosing tablet, then probably, because that would dye the plaque.
And silly question, but since you are tooth fairies, what's the current rate of exchange?
Well, I had this conversation with some children yesterday. I said a gold coin, but someone said they had a £5 note, and I did, and I said it's probably due to how clean the tooth was. If it's extra clean.
I have been following you on LinkedIn, and I have been looking at some of the experiences that your students have. Honestly, I want to be a student again, and I want to go to your college. It's like you have been to European Parliament, you have been to Westminster, you have been to, which countries have you been to this year?
Fiji, Costa Rica, we've been to Vietnam, Cambodia, South Korea.
The
Thailand.
world is your oyster, and Catherine Richards and East Norfolk Sixth Form College will show you that the world is your oyster. What a wonderful thing you do for your students. Where were you when I was doing my A-levels, Catherine Richards? Because I feel like you really go out there to show, and your college goes out there to show young people that nothing is beyond their reach.
I think that is essentially what is part of East Norfolk Sixth Form College. That is the whole piece. We want to raise aspirations, we want to let young people think they can do whatever they like in their lives, and taking them abroad is really important, because it's all of those ideas, those creative ambitions, they come back, bring those ideas to Norfolk, and then we benefit from them in the future, and that's why I do it. And it opens their minds to so many different ideas about diversity, food, education, actually, and even here with the farming conference about farming, because in every country we've been to, in some way or other, we've got involved with agriculture, whether that's eating produce, whether it's seeing how it's grown, you name it, we've seen it. Particularly now with climate change, it's about crop design, it's about water, because these are big issues, and actually how we're going to grow our food in the future is so important. We can't ignore that, and young people need to be part of that.
And I think what's also really nice is, your young people having the opportunity to raise their voices, in Parliament,
Absolutely.
And I think, I was quite late in my career before I realised that actually you just assume someone else is talking about your stuff. Yes. And actually it's not always the case. No. And it's about making, getting your voice heard, but also making yourself accessible.
Yeah. And I mean, certainly the European Parliament, I have to say, when one of our students asked a question, I felt the proudest. It was like I was her mother somehow, even though I'm not. It was that, because that was a huge, speaking out, there was 27 different countries with all the different representatives. You've got the Vice President of the European Parliament there watching, and she puts up her hand, and what was so lovely about it, what really lovely about it was, he said, "Where are you from?" And she said, "East Norfolk." And then he was sort of like, because we're dealing with all the, where is that? United Kingdom. And that was just like the best moment.
So I'm Rudy Mauer, and I'm the founder of Beantastic Hummus, co-founder together with my wife. What we do is hummus from all types of beans, not just chickpeas. So traditionally you find supermarket hummus just from chickpeas. We use things like red kidney beans, butter beans, and carline peas that we get from Hod Meadows. And we get people to have this challenge to match the beans, so just to understand that you can make hummus from all sorts of legumes.
Come on, we can do this.
Oh my goodness, plant scientists, are we going to get our peas right? Oh, that's
I'm going to go for that. I'd go for,
Yeah, and...
You'd think they were... Hang on a minute. Go on then.
So what colour is flamingo?
It's a pink. I know. Ah, you see. I didn't pay attention. Yeah.
So where do you even grow flamingo peas?
It was actually developed at the John Innes. So we've just recently discovered it. Haven't tried it yet, but we are already making.
So this was in our germplasm resource unit at the John Innes Centre.
Exactly.
So how did you come to have this in your?
I went to Hodmedod's last week. I spoke to Josiah, the founder. Really, really good people. So the whole idea with Hodmedod's is they make sure that farmers are paid properly for what they do, and we're totally supportive of that. And almost all of the beans, or most of the beans and peas and seeds are UK grown. So for instance, you can find Carling peas from Somerset, and we have farmers all around the country. They work directly with the farmers, and they make sure that they get paid properly. So
blue peas.
Blue peas?
Surely this is going to make children want to eat more vegetables.
Right.
Are they actually blue when you get them off the...
We haven't tried them yet, but we definitely will do, and also the flamingo ones. And the idea, but typically beans were cheap because they were used for animal feed. But if you actually use them for food, and you add value to it, like hummus, then you can charge more, and then the farmers can get paid more.
Yeah, incredible.
So obviously, legumes is a big sort of hot topic at the moment for alternative proteins.
Right.
And do you know so there's some work that Jannika's doing about, so although you have that high protein, does it affect the ability to absorb sort of beneficial vitamins as well? And, is there anything happening to sort of link up some of that research?
There's a lot of work at the Quadrum around that, and we do have a collaboration with the Quadrum. So we got some grant from the Anglo Innovation Partnership to develop hummus as a functional food. So there's hummus but our hummus, which is clean label, tastes really nice, no artificial ingredients, is very good for you. But then with the Quadrum, we're looking to take it to a step further, and through optimization of the ingredients and through fortification of specific nutrients to make it hummus that can actually provide specific health benefits for certain populations, whether it's sports, gut health, or even women's health is something that we're looking at the moment.
Sport hummus. You heard it here first. Sport hummus. I love it.
Sport hummus is amazing. Gut health hummus is amazing. But really, our passion and what we're developing is the women's health. Women's health, and we're keeping it under the radar at the moment, but we will be out there.
Where can we buy this?
We've just launched 2 months ago.
Give us a rundown of the dates where you can buy Beantastic hummus.
Okay, so upcoming sales of Beantastic hummus on Sunday the 29th of June. We're at the Wyndham Food and Drink Festival in Wyndham. Saturday the 5th of July, we're in Black Barn Farm in their marketplace. And Sunday the 12th of July, we're at Stalham Street Fair in Stalham Market. And on Wednesday the 30th of July, we're back in Black Barn Farm Marketplace in Salhow.
Thank you very much. I know how far people come into this county for their weekends and their holidays, so there's no excuse not to come and sample this fantastic hummus. You're obviously next to Beantastic hummus, but you've got your fantastic...
We're not next to Beantastic hummus, they are a member of ours.
So they're next to you?
Yeah, Taste Buds is a collaborative for food and drink members. So we have almost 200 members, they're part of a network here with us. And the QR code will take you to our links. So we have a link tree on our Instagram page, and basically you can check out all of the awards and things we've got coming up. One big thing is we've just put our applications in for nominations. So we're hosting the region's first Food and Drink Collaboration Awards.
That is the important word, collaboration.
Collaboration. So the whole point is the partnership being together.
The era of competition is over.
Correct.
And I'm not saying this in any sense of a cider at all, but cider at all, but
we're not in the food hall.
It implies to me that your reach is beyond the region.
That's correct, yeah.
Which I think is a good thing. I'm framing that as a really good thing. So tell us about your reach. Based in the region, but of the...
Correct. So we are based in Norfolk. However, we are supporting anybody that needs some support. So we actually have people that work in places like France, in Africa. They don't even work in the UK, and we're here supporting them.
Fantastic. So all that's those new relationships built. And
whilst we're within the region and we want to work within the east of England.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, look at the John Innes. We're talking to Penny of the John Innes Centre with that global remit.
Yeah, we're working very closely with them at the moment. So is Beantastic. So Rudy here is working with John Innes. Where's my favourite schmoozer?
The schmooze has ended and Alex Latta has returned just as the microphones are still open. You are Alex Latta, he should say, for the purposes of the tape. Alex Latta has entered the room.
There is so much going on.
The impact of the Taste Buds Collective in accelerating a fantastic startup.
And you've won some awards recently, haven't you, for your partnerships?
We did. We won Partnership of the Year at the UEA Impact and Innovation Awards. Yeah, we weren't expecting that. That was a really big thing for us, just to validate what we've been doing for the last 3 years, working with some amazing people, supporting amazing businesses, driving growth, innovation and healthy food, really. That's in a nutshell what we're doing. Loads of ideas, loads of plans that are coming, so I guess we're just getting started. We've just taken our new HQ and our new office. I don't know if Charlotte's already mentioned this. So we're now doing hot desking for businesses to come and work with us. Basically networking in action every Monday, very cost effective for our members to come in and work with us. We're going to have our mentors, our consultants and our experts.
Where's that?
It's going to be at Cara House, which is in Norwich.
Yes.
And so basically we're going to have some experts and consultants. When you book a desk, you get to book a meeting for an hour with a mentor that can help your business grow. We're also going to be running workshops and activities there around that to support our members. We're in discussions with Norwich Business School from the UEA to come and run their business clinic there once a month, so you can actually access academics in that space as well, kind of taking the Norwich Research Park on a little road trip into the city centre. The invitation's open to the other institutes. We are talking to Quadrum to do some stuff around gut health and ingredients and the science that they can provide. So it might be the yeast, it might be food safety, but taking them to where the businesses are and where the startups need that support, make it accessible. We're also in discussions with quite a lot of people around delivering the support that businesses need. Norwich University of the Arts around branding, Brandland to bring them in. It's a whole collaboration piece.
Got a big screen.
Yeah.
You've got computer games on there. So who are you?
We're tech educators, so we're a bootcamp provider. We teach software development, game development, digital marketing, AI. The game that's on the screen that you can't see because this is audio, but you can see it, was made by one of our students after 4 weeks of learning. So
how do you operate? Are you part of a college, university?
So we're a private company, so we work with the local authorities. So we work with Norfolk and DFE. So if you are 19 or older, you can do one of our boot camps for free. They'll pay for it. And so we're all over Norfolk, Suffolk, Hull, Cambridge, Leicester, Lincoln, Nottingham, Cornwall maybe, who knows.
And how accessible are you? Because I know for a lot of people the thought of computers, technology, IT is just utterly terrifying, and people think that they need to be really good at it. Is it accessible for everybody?
Absolutely. Every single one of our boot camps is written from the ground up. So AI, software, digital marketing, it's written as if you don't know anything and you're coming in fresh, and we're learning to teach you from the very basics, the absolute fundamentals, all the way 12 weeks later to like the cutting edge latest software and how to build something, either whether it's game development or building a website.
And so you are age 16 to
19 and onwards.
So you could come in to the Norwich Research Park and
Absolutely.
do a workshop.
So that's one of the things we're doing today is we've got a little QR code. You may even win a voucher. But the whole idea is if you are interested in upskilling in AI, we have a half a day a week AI bootcamp.
If you think like the digital world is all about zeros and ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
In the biological world, we're all about A's, C's, T's and G's, and we're now at the ability where we've mapped genomes and we're now trying to decipher code to phenotype, so physical appearance, and the data that we have is huge, but how do we then sort of mine in to sort of like trying to identify those traits? And so many of us, probably scientists, aren't familiar with AI beyond ChatGPT.
Yeah. So that is what our bootcamp teaches. Like again, so coming in, we assume you don't know anything about AI. We don't assume you know what ChatGPT is. We teach you what that is. We teach you how it works, how literally behind the scenes what's happening. And the more you understand how it works, the more you understand how to use it better. And so over the course of 12 weeks, half a day a week, we'll teach you how to use it properly, how to use it responsibly, what are some of the tools out there that you can use, like what are your options in terms of AI, and literally what can it do.
Sam Fox, pleasure to see you. How's your day been going?
Oh, it's been brilliant. Thank you so much, Penny. It's always amazing after so much work going in, arranging all these exhibitors and speaking to people and pitching them the idea to come here. and showcase the work and the innovations, and to see all the exhibitors interacting with this number of young people and families as well. We've got so much technology and kit in this marquee today. It's really, really exciting. Yeah.
I have to say, you are looking absolutely beautiful, and I have seen this outfit on you once before when you were in Buckingham Palace.
I did. Yeah, I did.
How?
No, I was very, very honoured, and it was a total surprise to be nominated to go to a special garden party at Buckingham Palace, celebrating all those working in education and skills, which was such a wonderful experience. So I'm so grateful for.
So did they phone you? Did you get a letter?
I got an email. It was just completely out of the blue. I literally opened the email from the Lord Lieutenant's office of the Norfolk Lieutenancy, saying that they were delighted to invite me to attend a garden party on behalf of His Majesty the King, and I just couldn't believe it. Is this a wind up? Is this a joke? But it was such a wonderful, wonderful experience. Like, it really was. It was a wonderful day, and my goodness, they know how to put on a party. It was so amazing. All the sandwiches and cakes, it was wonderful. But just to go behind, and see what's in the garden and Buckingham Palace. But it was great, and it was especially good because it was celebrating everyone working in education skills, and we saw a few local head teachers and CEOs and things. So it was really, really nice opportunity. It really was.
But also very well deserved, and hopefully, a bit of practice for when you get your MBA.
Oh no, don't.
So the question is, for those who may not know, what are chambers?
Yeah, singular or plural.
I know some do singular and some do plural.
So it's Norfolk Chambers of Commerce, which for slightly historical reasons is because we used to have area councils as part of the Norfolk Chamber of Commerce, and they were forums for discussion, but very sort of, well, the clues in the name, very much like a council of people. So we decided we won't do that. We'll be more about Norfolk, but we want to keep the plurality of that, so it is Norfolk Chambers, to imply that it's not just us. So it's a little bit of subtle brand play, I think.
Well, there you go. Well done. Does that answer your question?
It does.
A slightly more existential question about what a Chambers of Commerce is. We are 128, maybe 129 years old, so been around a long time. We are all accredited by the British Chambers of Commerce, which more people might be more familiar with. Every time there's a spending review or a budget, someone from the British Chambers is usually on BBC News explaining what it means for business, alongside the likes of the CBI, the FSB, and so on. The difference with us is that we are locally focused, so Norfolk, obviously, as the name suggests, isn't a national organisation. We are purely about Norfolk, and our role is to connect businesses, so to bring people together like today at the Norfolk Show, where we can, to support them, so with things like our Co-Solo programme, our Co-Next programme, and to help amplify their voice, so where they have got a particular opportunity or a challenge where we want local, regional or national government to do something, or in some cases stop doing something, that's kind of our role.
So obviously when we went and had a look around the STEM Village, taste buds were there. Do they kind of fit into your sort of ecosystem?
Yes, they do. So we, like I say, we are purely a membership organisation, but we're a not-for-profit, so we do come with it that sort of attitude of kind of come one, come all. And so we work very closely with the Royal Norfolk Agricultural Association. We work very closely with EGA on the sort of offshore renewables. We work very well with the Federation of Small Businesses, so there isn't sort of an exclusivity to it. We are effectively here to just champion business, and if it's good for business, we tend to be all for it, really.
But it's true though, isn't it? It's so easy to think that there's no crossover in different sectors, and I think these sorts of events are really good to realise that there are those sorts of crosstalk.
There definitely is. So our mission, if you like, it's literally written on the wall in our office, is connecting, supporting and giving voice to every business in Norfolk. The word every in that sentence is really important, because obviously not every business in Norfolk is a member of Norfolk Chambers. I'd love it if they were, but they're not. The truth is, you don't have to be a member to come and be a part of what we're kind of creating. It helps because we can do a lot more for you if you are a member of the Chambers, but it's not an exclusive club necessarily. So we do work very well with those other organisations. We do joint events, we do joint submissions to government. We've done that several times where actually, for the Institute of Directors, the Federation of Small Business, the Chambers of Commerce, we all agree that this is a good or a bad idea, depending on what it is. We should probably write to the Minister together, so we have co-signatories from all of us. So we do a lot of that. We also work work across the region as well. So we work very closely with Suffolk Chambers of Commerce, Cambridgeshire, Essex, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire and so on, under the loose umbrella of Chambers East. It does what it says on the tin. So we do a lot of work on skills with Suffolk. So we work on the local skills improvement plan with Suffolk. Around the industrial strategy, we did roundtables collectively with Department for Business and Trade.
Listeners will be familiar with the silky smooth voice of Jack Weaver, as he recently appeared on the roundtable we did on getting more SMEs engaged with government contracts, local, national, alongside the FSB, and I have to say that has proved very popular.
It's well, we've gone on and done more with that. So Neil, who was on that podcast, we've done some joint events. We did a webinar on exactly that topic because through that conversation, people have gone, oh, that's really interesting. You know, there's huge opportunity to work with central government or local government, but it's always felt like there's a barrier. So now that they're hopefully, and we'll see that wash through, lowering that barrier, more SMEs, who, keep in mind, about 90%, 95% of the business community are SMEs, they get an opportunity to bid for some of those bigger opportunities. I had a conversation just today with the station commander at Marham on exactly that point.
Jack Weaver, thank you very much for your very deft explanations and brilliant oversight.
Well, thank you for coming to visit Norfolk Chambers again. It's good to see you, Mike.
How's it going? James Lee Burgess, Urban Tech Creative Mastermind.
All good. It's been a busy morning. I miscalculated the net traffic this morning. I'm a first timer, you see.
You're a first timer? I find that hard to believe.
First timer with a stand, at least. So yeah, but we got all set up by about 9:30, so that was fine. And then been a steady flow of people and coming to try the mixed reality experience we have on show here today, which includes a demonstrator of a trainer shop, which you've seen before, Mike, I believe.
I was going to say, we did come out and record you whilst you were at the, now I must get the name right, is it Chantry Place? Oh, no, Chapel Quarter.
Yes, lots of trainers and other items on show. Amazing. Zero logistics, apart from setting up the technology and putting the stand up, yeah, that's the idea.
You'd have got a pop-up shop there. My wife and I, we put on your fantastic headsets, and from going just a wooden construction that is in right over there, you had a magnificent shop before you. It was kind of this middle ground between a virtual store and a physical store.
And the term for that is phygital. So yeah, physical and digital together. So there we are.
I love it, you too.
So it's a phygital pop-up, but we're looking at there's different uses for it as well. So we've also got content there today from the Sainsbury's Centre. We've had a chat with them and we got one of their, it's not on show actually at the Sainsbury's Centre Museum, it's a Mexican statue with some information videos around the edge, so that's a little bit of collaboration we've done with them. And then of course the John Innes Centre, we've got some video content about the new building that's going on and about their work at Church Farm as well. So yeah, not just a shop.
Not just a shop, you are a man of many talents and your technology gets put to many uses, which is why I'm glad I'm here with my co-host. We start in our afternoon session and we're all wilting slightly in the heat of the Royal Norfolk Show for the second year. But Penny, you have many times spoken in glowing terms about James Lee Burgess, our guest here, who's now looking slightly bashful. We've seen you, James, we've seen you create fantastic heritage-related content for the Thomas Wolsey 550th anniversary in Ipswich. That was absolutely mind-blowing stuff. The old Ipswich being brought to life from Henry VIII's time, appearing mystically out of a dark Suffolk night. Penny, you've really been impressed with what James has been creating. You don't have to pay me for this, by the way.
Well, do you know, it's come about, and this is what I really like about Norwich and the community that, you know, especially the stuff that you're doing through Eastern Promise, because you pinged me and said, James's daughter is looking for some work experience, and so we had her, she came onto the research park, spent a week with us, and then James came in, and I thought it would be a really great opportunity for him to meet up with our bioimaging team. So we went and showed him the bioimaging team. So we took Mike there recently, and I think he was a bit amazed that there were microscopes the size of cars. And so I think your mind just goes, where could we take this? So I think we were kind of thinking, God, we could use these headsets and we could be actually inside a living plant cell. And, you know, all the sort of things that we potentially could do. And then James, you know, very kindly brought me back down to earth. And we're starting a little bit slower, but he has put together some really nice stuff of actually bringing our new building to life. The new building being a £400 million investment into the Norwich Research Park. So this will become home to the John Innes Centre, which is currently spread over 3 different buildings, but also bringing the Sainsbury Laboratory, all of us together under one roof for the first time, and bringing our technology platforms under one roof for the first time. And we're really upgrading all our facilities. So our glass houses is currently under construction now. We're going to have a 2-storey insectary, which is going to be really impressive. And this is not just about bringing us a new fancy building. It's got to offer something for the wider UK research community as well. So we're sort of looking with creating the hub, how we can create this centre for knowledge exchange, how we can use it to create the sort of the workforce of the future, and how we can enable access to our technologies.
But James, you've really kind of come in on the ground floor of a really interesting technological moment in that, like we said, not just culture, not just science, not just architecture. As far as I'm aware, our region's most foremost exponent of a really exciting technology that is allowing people to interact much more directly with the world around them.
Yeah, it is an exciting time, and obviously we work with AI as well in terms of how we generate content, and I think this technology is only going to get better. So I think there's huge opportunities there in engaging different audiences. Human beings know our 3D, we engage with things in 3 dimensions, that's our natural setting. So to be able to use digital content in that way, semi-immersive experiences using augmented reality, mixed reality, which is when it's in the headset, and VR as well, of course, that suite of acronyms, all applicable, is really exciting. And also the AI impact, it's going to have a seismic shift on how we develop our work, and already is making us being able to deliver stuff beyond where we were before. So it's quite exciting. I mean, the stuff we've done with Penny as well, bringing the building to life, we've used AI in that to be able to animate CGI views of the building, bring them to life with people, do voiceovers very quickly, those kind of things. So being able to get content out there and delivering it in different ways is really exciting.
Hi, my name's Philip Zegerman, and I'm Head of Research, Director of Technology at Tropic Biosciences, based at Norwich Research Park.
And for the very, very infinitesimally small number of people who may not know of Tropic, sure, because you're very well known in the stuff you do.
Great.
Tell us more.
We are a tropical seed business, so we make new breeds of tropical plants, and we do it through cutting-edge precision breeding technology.
So, I'd ask you what brought you to Norwich Research Park, but we've got my colleagues over there from the John Innes Centre, so so it's fairly obvious, but tell us a bit of the Tropic story, if you would.
The Tropic story is that the tropical crop market is heavily underserved by biotechnology. Whereas wheat, corn, the things that we eat in the West are really well served by the big agricultural companies, but actually the tropical crops like banana, which is the fourth largest crop in the world, are underserved by novel technologies. And so Tropic saw that as an opportunity, and now we bring innovation to tropical crops, in particular coffee, rice and banana. And our first product is on the market this year. It's a non-browning banana.
A non-browning banana.
Yes.
That's public service at its finest, because I'm a big fan of coffee, a big fan of bananas. Right. So what kind of processes do you employ? We're at the Royal Norfolk Show, and it's very hard to sort of cram everything you do into a quick brush pass, as it were. Where we say, oh, hello, I'm interested in what you do, so maybe this is something we can come back and do at another time. Sure. And that would be fantastic. But what do you want people to know about Tropic Bioscience? What's the main message we can get out there?
We're going to bring novel innovations to crops that badly need it, because they are under threat from global warming and other major agricultural issues like disease. And so we're going to bring that innovation to make sure that we keep having these important food items on our shelves. So we're really about food security and making sure that everyone in the world has enough food to eat.
But I'm delighted to be here with someone we've unfortunately very rudely kept waiting, and I apologise to the nation and to Vicky Foster. of the Earlham Institute, and I'm really excited actually because it feels like I'm going to get very soon, I hope, a peek inside the Earlham Institute and find out more about what you do. But here's Vicky Foster. Tell us what you do at Earlham Institute and a bit of a quick background.
So I've been with Earlham Institute for 6 months now. I'm working in the business development team. So my role there is to kind of try and help build partnerships. So engage. So I've got a lot of connections in the agri industry because I've been in that for a long time. So I can help the scientists to build some connections with like some commercial companies, other researchers in the industry. So on that sort of plant side, to hopefully get some new projects going and get some new exciting work going, build some new collaborations for the future. So some of the scientists that are not so exposed to that community, I can kind of try and bring them together.
So in a nutshell, what does the Earlham Institute do?
Yeah, so the Earlham Institute, so we're all about DNA, all about the DNA and the genetics of life. So it's a bit like it's our barcode. So it's quite sort of fundamental stuff, but basically it's kind of, they do lots and lots of work where they can look at the DNA and they can kind of strip it right back and they can kind of understand what it's doing, and then they can look for different solutions to world problems of today, whether that's fighting pests and diseases in plants or in animals, in humans, global food security, all sorts of things. It might be enhancing the roots of crops to allow them to access water better or nutrients better. It might be on the other end looking at Crohn's disease and helping sufferers to work out what's happening there with fibrosis and various bits and pieces. So it's really amazing. It's all about kind of the kind of the I suppose it's like the kind of the Bible and of us. It's like what makes us, what are our building blocks, and how do we kind of sort of use that information to look for these solutions in the future.
And it's all about unlocking that genetic code. So we were talking, when we were over at the STEM, we were talking to some sort of, computer modelers so most people are very familiar with that sort of digital code, zeros and ones sort of ruling the digital world, whereas the biological world is these ACs, Ts and Gs. And so we have all that information through genome sequencing. We know the order of those letters, but we don't know what it does. And so a lot of the work we're trying to do is to try and understand what bits of genetic code control which traits. And in the future, machine learning and AI is going to be able to learn from different species and different crops. So if we know that gene does something in that one or in that variety, we can look to see if we can make tweaks to introduce those similar changes.
Well, the level of enthusiasm that's coming off both you, Penny, and especially you, Vicky, you obviously sound so excited about your job. It's catching, because I'm now saying, I can't wait to get in there and find out more and go round the Earlham Institute. So it's almost hard to ask a question because it's so broad what you do, and you've got. But that must be both daunting and wonderful at the same time because you've got applications across the board.
Absolutely. So it's not just for like sort of plant sciences, it is around life sciences. So I mean, like you talk about big data and supercomputers. I mean, some of the computational scientists there, I mean, they have big data and they have these, amazing computers that can kind of strip it back. And we have this facility called a biofoundry, and this is like really special. I think there's 3 of these in the UK, and we have one at the Earlham Institute, and it's kind of a national capability where, again, they use massive sort of automation and systems to basically whiz through samples and kind of get loads of information much more quickly than you could do by hand to really understand things like genetic variations. So again, understanding what's happening and why things are happening. Look at kind of sort of engineering biology of the future. What could new solutions be? How could that be? How could that feed into developing new varieties, maybe for pest and disease resistance? But this can all be done at a level that it would take years and years to do by hand. So it's an amazing resource, and we do a lot of training and education there as well. So you can bring people in for training courses. So people can come in from their company, they can bring their people, they can come and find out and understand more about some of the genomics, the computational biology. So there's lots of things, and people don't know a lot about Earlham and what Earlham does, but you can look on the website earlham.ac.uk and you can find out more. But even better than that, we have an annual event every year, and this year on the 15th of October we have EI Innovate, and this is kind of our open day where partners can come along and you can come and kind of visit the Earlham, you can see what we do, you can kind of get engaged and learn, and maybe we can partner with we partner with big companies like Syngenta and AstraZeneca, Tropic Biosciences on the research park, lots of institutes, University of East Anglia, lots of different places. So it's a great thing, and even better than that, if you book before the 18th of July you get an early bird discount, and we have special rates for students events for not-for-profit organisations and for commercial companies. So yeah, come down on the 15th of October to Earlham and find out more about what we do.
I'm sold.
I'm completely sold. I'm standing here thinking.
And this would be a great opportunity for you to get your hat trick of directors and come in and talk to Neil.
Come and talk to Neil.
Neil Hall, who is the director at the Earlham Institute.
Fantastic.
And you're about to do Christopher Wowie, who will take over as the director at the John Innes Centre in August. Have you got the new quadrum?
I haven't.
And that's the best thing about the research park. The research park, there's so much there. Little companies, big companies, so much stuff on there. There's just so much to get involved in. So yeah, we love to see you more.
Councillor Fabian Eagle of many hats, and it's a delight to see you at this. This is the first day of the Royal Norfolk Show. The sun is shining. What brings you here, sir? How has the show been for you so far?
The show's always excellent. As you get older, you use it more for networking and actual genuine business networking rather than social networking. But I've come here ever since I was a little boy, so it's 50-odd years. Bit of exhibiting. First of all, obviously, with my normal profession in the poultry tent, and it's now my children are doing cattle, so we've weeks and weeks preparations, and up here yesterday washing and scrubbing cattle, and back up here today trying to do some county council and the day job business, meeting people. It's just fantastic. You never get across the whole show round. It's for anyone who wants to do any networking, you are just surprised the wide range of businesses and people are actually here that you can see in one go. There's nowhere else in Norfolk that you can do this.
Absolutely. This is, as I think I say, I've pre-recorded it, so I think I'm right in saying, always refer to this as it's Norfolk shop window. It is the one place that you get the sense of what Norfolk is. It's all together in one place. You can sort of try and get around it all if you can, which is very, very difficult to do, hence why it's 2 days.
I just give up. I've given up trying to get around it now. And now my children are older, you don't need to go around certain other places, and you end up being focused on less and less, and you end up happily sitting down next to someone, talking to someone, and then suddenly someone else comes and talks to you, or you move to the next table, and sometimes you find you've only moved 3 or 4 tables in about 2 or 3 hours. But it's all been very beneficial, and it's also us actually having that chance by being here as a conduit. We need someone so to meet this person, and suddenly they're there, and we've given the introductions. And I will carry that on. As this is the first day, I'll carry this on till 10 o'clock tonight. I'll probably be the last councillor standing.
I would think that's highly likely, because last year you had colleagues from Reeve, as the memory serves. And that was such a wonderful thing to have them here and to be able to welcome them to Norfolk.
So we've got the Mayor of Zhovkova, if I've got that pronounced correct, Oleg Volitsky. He is coming, he'll be here tomorrow, seeing that again. He was here last year, and then he's going on to Watton, where he's signing a memorandum of understanding for Watton with Zhovkova as part of our now narrowing it, breaking down that Lviv region that Norfolk has, and we're now really getting it down closer connections with each town. And again, coming to Watton, jumping from the shoal, but still those connections. I've just bumped into a couple of businesses from the Watton area, and they're so enthusiastic. We're going to meet the Ukrainian mayor and do this business here, and all these things happen, and we couldn't have done those parts without having that Norfolk show as a real stage front to invite those people. And it works. If we're planning something and bringing people from outside of Norfolk, we generally try and now organise something to fit round coming here, because it's just a wonderful experience. Any event in any county, you must not underestimate your county shows. Don't just think it's real. Yes, it's a fantastic day at cattle, sheep, pigs, the best of the countryside. Everything is here, so much to see, so much to connect. If you're trying to do business, you want to build up your networks and your connections, Norfolk Show, even if you're coming on your own, you will meet people and you will get those connections you need.
That was the Royal Norfolk Show 2025. My huge thanks to Dr Penny Hundleby, who, I'm sure you'll agree, has transformed the show coverage to having a hugely knowledgeable expert voice, as well as me rambling on. And if you want to hear more from Penny, then you are in a whole lot of luck, my friend. This autumn, Penny will be showing Eastern Promise around her gaff, the internationally renowned John Innes Centre. And that's it for this episode 137, our 4th Royal Norfolk Show extravaganza. That was Dr Penny Hundleby. I have been Mike Rigby, and I will be so again. Solo, I'm afraid, next time, when I'll be talking to Michaela Esbach, CEO of Cambridge Wireless, all about the forthcoming Cambridge Tech Week, her route to Cambridge, and Cambridge Wireless itself. It's a fascinating chat that takes place in the sun-soaked atmosphere behind the Bradfield Centre on Cambridge Science Park. If you want to know what's coming up on Cambridge Tech Week, it's a must-listen. So until then, bye for now. To hear other episodes of the Eastern Promise podcast and to find out more about what we do, go to our website at easternpromise.org.uk. Eastern Promise is a Pudding Shed production in proud association with Mills and Reeve. Achieving more together.